Hey guys, how is everybody doing? Oh. It's Mercury retrograde, so of course everything wants to be annoying, but we are here, guys. Hey Donna, hey Hannah, hey Ethereal Goddess, hi Lindsay, how are you guys all doing? Hey Can, hey Hannah. Oh my God, Hannah, you know what? Hey Dario, this was the first this morning when I got up at 4:30. I was like, I have to wash my hair today because I have not had time all week. And I was planning on trying to straighten it. So I used all the products just like that I used to like get my hair straight, you know? And then I ran out of time to straighten it. So my curls are all kind of like not popping like I would want them to, but it's okay. But thank you, I appreciate it. Hi Kenya, hey Donna, hi Ashley, hi Sana. How is everybody doing this weekend? And just a heads up, we're gonna move lives. It's gonna be twice a week now, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard, 2 p.m. Eastern. I know that's gonna be not the best time for everybody, but it's the only way that I can consistently go live. And of course, you guys will always have the ability to replay things. If anybody ever wants to do timestamps in the chat or comments, you guys can. I do not have the time to do it. So please don't ask me, you guys. I work 100 hours a week. I can't do everything, and it's just me doing all my stuff right now. So, hey Teddy. Hey Renee. Hi Dario. Hi Lindsay. So yes, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and also make sure you subscribe to my second channel, because when I do have extra time here and there, I go live on there just to hang out with you guys, and I do have podcasts and stuff that I will be posting over there. And also because YouTube's been snatching and demonetizing channels and all of that stuff too, so just in case, so you guys always know where to find me. And it is, I put it up in the chat way earlier, but let me see, where did it go? Okay, I don't know, I can't find it right now, but hang on one second and I'll put the link. So also guys, reminder too, we're moving all of the Nikki content over to Patreon. There is a Barb's tier, and you can subscribe to that. We will do a dedicated Nikki live each month, and then any other content that I post about her, we will have over there. The duds are watching, so this is just simply because Spirit said we gotta protect her and that information and energy right now, so nobody can try to use it against her. So, but make sure you guys read the information about what tiers, because if you want access to request stuff or listen to all the other content and everything, you have to make sure that you subscribe to the other tiers for access for that. But if you guys just only want the Barb stuff, then there's a $3 tier for that. We understand, Mimi, but I put the link to the other channel, so guys, make sure you subscribe over there. They're definitely the biggest stalkers. So although, you know, this live is actually about the mayonnaise drama. Oh, hang on one second. I've got to plug in my Oh, I'll be right back, guys. I forgot to get my charger. Hold on 1 second. Okay. These lives be killing the batteries and they heat up your phone. So it doesn't matter if you got 100%, you got to make sure that you still have that charger on because it'll drain the battery and cut us off. But what I was saying is I see that Carlos is now telling people that, oh, the album's gonna come out next year, when like last month she was claiming it was coming out in October for her birthday. So listen, there is no way in hell that Carlos wants to drop an album when Doja, Drake, and Nicki are all coming, because there is no way in hell, especially with her not having as much industry support as she. It's YouTube. It's not me, because I saw somebody else's live. It was buffering for them too. So just bear with me. Again, I can't control it. It's YouTube. We're in the middle of Mercury retrograde. There's hurricanes going on everywhere. It's supposed to even rain here today, and it's also 90 degrees. So, but yeah, she's just lying as per usual, right? Because she told everybody that she was the next single was supposed to be a solo single. Then she dropped the feature with Fendi the Rapper. Then she said that again, that she wasn't doing any more collaborations and features, and they were only going to be solo songs, and it was going to be the lead single. And then she comes back out and says, oh, look, I've got a song coming with well, I call her Mucus, but y'all call her the horse. And so it's just like, so then when she got on there, she's like, we tricked y'all. I was like, yeah, you sure did. You keep tricking your fans. Eventually, they're going to stop believing you and just give up on you, girl. Dude, well, listen, when Charlamagne told her, which I didn't watch that Breakfast Club interview, it's just, I saw a few clips and then somebody else told me, you know, they watched the whole thing and basically summarized it for me. I guess Charlamagne told her, like, oh, well, you don't have to even put out an album. You could just keep dropping singles. And I was just laughing because it's like, I've already told you guys that that's, excuse me, the direction that the industry is going to end up going in anyways, since people don't really buy entire albums anyways. And streaming is way more important these days. And, you know, they're putting everybody basically in a microwave, and it's just like, okay, well, you were hot for 5 seconds and now we're going to move on to somebody else. But she should just go that route. Nobody's going to support a second album from her at this point. And you know what I was thinking this morning in the shower? She obviously does not want to go on a tour, because she's always known that that's going to expose her. That, oh, supposedly you get 5 billion streams in 24 hours for every song you put out, but yet you can't fill seats with bots. She should have released her second album when they released WAP. Think about how many artists dropped albums around the time that we were in the pandemic and all shut down, and nobody could go outside. And, you know, there was a lot of artists that's like they had to continue with the release, even though they weren't going to be able to do a whole lot to support the album. and nobody could go on tours. And then what happened for a lot of them, once outside opened back up, they did the festival circuit to kind of, you know, re-support that album, and then they went back to the studio and did, you know, recorded and released another album that they could then tour to support. Carlos could have released that second album when she released WAP, because that was at the height of the pandemic, when we were all locked in the house and couldn't even go outside without getting a damn ticket for taking a walk in the park. So that could have excused her from having a tour, and then it could have bought her a few more years before she had to put out another album, and at least it would have kept her momentum going somewhat. So she just makes dumb decisions all around, because it's like that could actually benefited her and helped her continue to be as lazy as she wants to. But now that she's saying that she's going to release it next year, you guys, next year is the 7-year mark of when she signed her record label deal. There's the 7-year clause on contracts that you can't hold somebody in a business contract, like a record deal, for longer than 7 years. And either side can then break the contract at that point. So she's stupid if she thinks that she wants to continue in music and still have somewhat of a career as a rapper. Because she's just going to give Atlantic every out to like toss her ass to the curb if she lets it go to that 7-year mark. So, yes, I said this too, if y'all were with me on the live the other day that we did on my second channel. I said everybody was going to be checking to see what Megan has to say on whatever song that she came back with. Was she going to address the Tory situation? Was she going to address her breakup with Party? Was she going to throw shots at Nicki? So Megan should have capitalized on that moment for herself instead of giving it to Carlos. But again, just a reminder, guys, it was the WAP after party that led to where Tori's at today. So even by hate listening, you're still rewarding them for destroying his life. So that song was horrible. Did you guys hear what Joe Budden said about it? He said it sounded like two people who don't know how to make a song. Because that's exactly what I said. I was like, I didn't listen to it through any streaming platforms. I didn't go to YouTube and stream it. Somebody screen recorded the video, leaked a couple hours before it released on YouTube. And some Barb screen recorded it and was sending it around to everybody on Instagram and I think Twitter too, somebody said. So I saw it through there. It got taken down, but it was up for a while, and that's how I saw it. Megan was not, like, they mixed that song so horribly. If you listen to it through your headphones, you at times can't even hear like what they're saying over the beat in the background. And when Megan comes in yelling My Little Ponies, which you just copied one of Nicki's bars, like, can you please be original? That was completely offbeat and it didn't go with the rest of the song. And I was like, oh my God, did Meek write this song for you guys? Why are you screaming? So it literally sounded like Meek like composed the song and wrote it for them and was like, okay, scream as loud as you can into the microphone now. So, which again, I will always say, at least Meek has some good songs. Dreams and Nightmares will always be a classic. I'm only listening to it if LimeWire is still available and free. Oh my gosh, Dario. Which, by the way, to the Patreon members, and if you are interested in joining the Patreon, me and Dario are like the Scooby Gang together, because we will be sending each other stuff all the time, cracking the case, doing our investigative detective work behind the scenes. And we found out some real juicy stuff about the Kardashians that we cannot talk about publicly on YouTube, but we will be talking about it in Patreon in the next week or two, so stay tuned for that because it's gonna blow your minds. So, bozos, you mean? Mariah just dropped Music Box again for the 30th anniversary. They will definitely not chart now. Oh, no. Not at all. I don't know, Lindsay. I was like, we're going to have to figure that out. Which one of us is which? Hey, Dee. You guys, literally, me and Dario were like just like texting each other back and forth all morning about all the crazy stuff that like we were putting together, the dots and the connections and everything. So exactly, Sana. They would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for the meddling financial advisor and that psychic demon slayer. So guys, let's get into the stuff that we have on board today. And my Patreons chose what we were talking about today. So we are going to be delving into the Mayo-nated drama. We've got Kylie Jenner and Timothee Chalamet, Hailey Baldwin and Justin Bieber, and who's the other person? Oh my God, I was like, I forgot for a second. Oh, Ariana and Ethan and the ex-wife. So, should we start with Justin and Hailey? Now, the reason why I was interested in doing this is because I don't know if y'all saw, she did some release party for her company and Justin showed up in sweats while she was, you know, all dolled up, and it was everybody else that was there was dressed up very nice. And she looked more than annoyed and pissed off. Like they were arguing in the car over something, and he, you know, like always, seemed like he didn't want to be there. And I saw some like little interviews that popped up on my YouTube shorts. I think the person that she did it with was like Hannah Burner, I think the girl's name is. Anyways, she kept referring to herself as Hailey Baldwin. Now, remember how much she kept calling herself Hailey Bieber, and like they said that she was even trying to trademark Hailey Bieber originally for the cosmetics company? So I wanted to see, is there trouble in paradise? But then on the flip side of it, they've also been saying that, you know, Justin is still trying to get out of his contract with Scooter Braun for management. He fired all his agents and all the rest of the people on his team, and allegedly Hailey is now going to manage him. I was like, how the hell is Hailey going to manage Justin Bieber's music career? That just seemed like the weirdest story, because I was like, how does being a model and having a skincare brand like translate into you being able to manage a music career, especially if somebody of the caliber of Justin Bieber of all people? It's not like you're like managing, I don't know, some up and coming person like Sexy Red. So he looked like Jesse from Breaking Bad. Who did, Timothy or what do you call Justin? Y'all, your guys' jokes in the comments are so funny. Hold on, I'm just reading the comments real quick. Poppin' hot mayo tea, oh my God. Your content over the past years has deeply moved me. Your authenticity and lessons have brought tears to my eyes, shaping my journey. Oh, thank you, Preston. Don't make me cry. Which, by the way, guys, if you do ever get in a reading from me, it always makes me nervous when you guys say you're nervous. Don't be nervous. Like, just remember, I'm the one that's supposed to impress you, not the other way around. And I have been doing this since the day I turned 18. I'm gonna be 41 next month. So at this point in time, between doing this for so long and then working in social services, there is nothing that you guys can tell me that is a stupid problem or that you need to be embarrassed about or anything like that. So please, like, don't ever think that, like, oh, my questions are stupid. No, they're not. And I just also want to say this because this, you know, patterns and things like that seem to happen sometimes with, you know, the people that I talk to. And I don't know if this is especially influenced because we've been going through Venus retrograde, and even though it's officially over, we're still in the shadow period. But I constantly hear from people like, oh, well, like, I guess I shouldn't be like stressed about this because there's bigger problems in the world. Or, oh, you said that your friend passed away, so I feel bad to burden you. Like, obviously, I'm taking your calls, so I'm okay. Don't worry about that. And if I can't read, I'll let you know. I'll reschedule you or something. Like, don't worry about that. But guys, if you break your wrist and I break my leg, it doesn't mean that because I broke a bigger bone in my body that your broken wrist isn't going to hurt anymore. Don't think that you're not allowed to have problems or feelings because there's starving children in the world. Your feelings, your problems are valid. You are valid, and what you go through is important. And I just want you guys to understand that. Okay? So, well, we will be doing a fundraiser on Thursday's live. I will post the links to it the day before because we do have a community member that is facing eviction. So we're going to be raising funds to help them so that they can move to a safer place and not end up on the streets. And I actually will be posting a discount code later on this evening too on my community tab. So we can donate to them and then you guys can get some money off. So make sure you check out the community tab and that you have your notifications on. So I love you guys too. But outside of special events, I do only take requests in Patreon. So, and I've actually done a bunch of recent videos on, well, not a bunch, but I did do a video already on Kanye and Bianca anyways. Oh, I'm so thankful for you guys. So I really am. I wouldn't be here on live right now if it wasn't for you guys. I wouldn't be working for myself and not on a psychic line if it wasn't for you guys. So I really, truly appreciate all of you and love you so much. So, but that's why we take care of our own here too. We are a community. We're not just a bunch of strangers. So when something happens, we rally and support one another. So moving on, let's get into the drums. So let's ask about Hailey Bieber and Justin first. And oh my God, you guys, I realized that like I have like little calluses like coming up on all of my fingers from shuffling cards so much on these videos because I was like, my fingers are like starting to feel like I play guitar or something, and I realized like, oh shit, like I'm getting calluses from on just my fingertips from shuffling the cards and then right here where they hit. I love you guys so much too. Don't make me cry, okay? I don't have waterproof mascara on, and I'm not trying to look like Lauren from the Hills. If y'all remember that. If you're old enough to remember that. I know, I was like, now I really am a professional, right? I got the calluses and battle wounds to prove it. Ooh, they fight a lot. Just the underlying energy is the Two of Cups, the Strength card, and the Five of Wands. It's like trying their hardest to hold on to this, even though there's constant tension and toxicity between the two of them. Elsie was an amazing crier. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Whitney will start judging me. She's gonna be embarrassed by me and not want to hang out with me later. Winnie, don't play. You guys, she's so funny. Last night, I put her leash and her harness on her because I haven't put it on her since I got it for her, and she refused to move. And she actually, because I put it on her and I took her right outside to the patio, she kind of was moving around in it, but she forgot that she could just stand up and walk straight. So she was doing this like army crawl kind of thing around. It was so funny. She'll get it eventually. Somebody told me to put her in one of those strollers, and I was like, dude, she'll lose her fucking shit if I try to put her in a stroller. Like, we're better off trying to give her a walk on a leash. This is the thing I have to say, you know, because I was thinking about this, because I just, you know, like, I look at pictures of the people and try to get in their energy before I get on the live, so that way I can connect to them. And Justin just as always gave me very like spoiled brat energy. Like, he expects everybody around him to like compromise to what he wants versus, okay, let's do what's best for the greater good. And I understand, like, I've heard over, you know, the years that a lot of child stars are like that because they're so used to, you know, like, well, I was the one paying all the bills and raising and taking care of my own family from the time I was like 10 years old, and then people kiss their ass and cater to them because they are the little money maker in the family. So they kind of, you know, grow up in that a lot of times. But I was just thinking, like, it must be freaking exhausting for Hailey to have to deal with him, because he's so mean to her. And so let's see. All right, well, the first thing that's coming up is Hailey really thought at first I won. I mean, let's be honest, she was definitely a pick-me, right? Whereas to Justin, let's be dead ass honest, she was a rebound. Okay, Selena was really done with me because I kept screwing around and acting like a moron and cheating on her and doing all this stuff, and she didn't want to give me another chance, and she didn't want to keep working on this relationship. So I ran and married Hailey, you know, is this impulsive decision, thinking that'll make me get over my ex. And he resents her because she hasn't been able to fix all of his problems, especially when he said that he thought getting married was going to fix all of his problems, and he found out that it wasn't going to. That alone should tell you everything about his mindset of why he even found himself in all of this. Hailey and Scooter Braun definitely bump heads because both of them want to be in control of Justin, right? And so, because Scooter feels like he's been with Justin since the beginning. So it's like nobody knows him better than me. I'm his, not just, manager, master, handler, whatever industry term you want to give it, but almost like Scooter in like a kind of weird way almost feels like Justin's his kid also, because it's like, I've raised you, in this industry. So Scooter resents anybody challenging him in the first place, but he also definitely resents Hailey, where she tries to kind of step in and tell Justin things, and Scooter's just like, well, why the hell does she feel like she has a right to say anything? She's not in this industry. I'm the one that knows better. And so I do feel like there's been a lot of like fighting like with that, and she's definitely a motivating force behind getting Justin away from Scooter Braun for good. So the other thing that Spirit's saying is she is really starting to realize she married a little boy and not a man, and that this little boy was not going to grow up just because she married him, nor has he in all of the time that they have been married. It's like, I understood that we were young when we got married, but everybody told me that young couples grow up together and they become mature together, and she feels like Justin hasn't changed at all from really who he was in the beginning, whereas she feels like she's grown up a lot. And part of that whole I want to try to help manage you thing is her really feeling like, almost like, if I manage your business, it'll force you to grow up on a personal level, which is very diluted because it's not going to. Justin's not going to grow up until Justin has to grow up. Like, let's just be honest. As long as Hailey's there to jump in and to constantly take care of everything, or shut her mouth, or just put up with stuff, and he has all these enablers and yes people around him, he's not going to change. He's not going to grow up. He's not going to definitely, suddenly be this man that she wants him to be. So whatever it is that they're trying to portray to the public, she's showing up as the Queen of Wands with the Seven of Cups behind it. It's not the truth. I'm manipulating it. I'm trying to make it seem like it's a happy situation. However, it is not the truth of what's really going on behind the scenes. We fight all the time. I'm sad and depressed all the time, because this is the thing too. She's hiding a lot of depression. We're very aware that Justin has his own mental health issues, but Spirit's saying, and this happens a lot, you guys, that one person in the partnership will go through a period where they're suffering from a lot of depression and anxiety, and the person who is the caretaker absorbs that energy and they start dealing with their own depression and anxiety. But a lot of times they don't even realize it because they're so focused on trying to help the other person. And so I do feel like that's, a lot of what's going on with her too. Let's see what else Spirit has to say about this. I mean, they're definitely going to end up breaking up, you guys. This is not a relationship that is going to last forever and ever and ever. She really does love Justin. Justin kind of sees her almost more as a mom. And that's also a reason why there's some resentment there sometimes too, because I think that Justin takes out his resentment on his own mom, on Hailey. And let me tell you something. This is the same situation that Chloe gets herself into as well. You start wanting to raise your boyfriends and be his mommy instead of his girlfriend, and then guess what? He's going to use all those mommy issues against you. And then, because who wants to screw their mom? Nobody does, unless you're really messed up in the head, and then you don't need to be in a relationship. You need therapy and maybe jail. But they can't be attracted to their wife anymore, their partner anymore. So when they do want something, they go cheat, and then go home, and it's like, okay, mommy, make me dinner and tuck me in bed after I was out cheating on you all day long. So Hailey is definitely finding herself being in a Khloe Kardashian type of situation, because I do see that there is going to be a third party interference that comes along. And this person is going to be really quick to let the world know, I screwed Justin Bieber. Because it is going to be some, rando that looks for clout on TikTok or something like that, and not, another celebrity who also has something to lose. So they're more likely to keep their mouth shut. So there is a breakup that will be coming, and this is going to be absolutely devastating for Hailey. It's not going to work out too well for Justin either, though. I feel like he's going to be really disappointed in himself, and he's going to be angry with himself. He's going to be angry with other people. It's not going to be a good time for either one of them. But I do feel like he's the one that's going to tell her, we need to end it now. She's still going to want to try to work things out with him. He's the one that's going to say, I need to be by myself and I need to work on stuff. This isn't working for me anymore. So I feel bad for Hailey. This is the thing, Lindsay. Why did she ignore the red flags? How old was she when they got married? Wasn't she like 19 or 20? Because, when you're young and you don't have a lot of dating experience, and especially because she comes from such like a conservative Christian household, she probably didn't date a lot when she was like a teenager. And I think like all of her relationships probably were mostly like public, Shawn Mendes and Justin Bieber. And so I feel like, it's just she didn't have the experience, really, the life experience to say, that's not how a relationship is supposed to be. And on top of it, her dad struggled with addiction too, and then that's how he became super Christian. And I've seen interviews where she's talked about how her mom's like told her like, oh, I had to put myself last for so long in our marriage so that I could help him clean himself up and get together and take care of the kids when he couldn't. And I think that Hailey thinks that's normal too, because that's what she saw growing up. But she saw her dad get to the other side and get better and stay in a better place, and her mom and her dad ending up being able to heal that part of their relationship and have a better marriage going forwards, that I think that she not only romanticized it and thinks it's normal, but also that she just kept waiting. Well, we're going to get to that point that my parents did, and not realizing every situation and every relationship and every person is going to be different. And just because your parents got through it doesn't mean you guys will. So I don't think that Hailey is a horrible person. I think she's incredibly insecure. And I think that she was very young when she got herself into this situation. Listen, there's plenty of girls out there. We see it all day, every day on social media, that they'll sit there and hold on to somebody that's not right for them because they get caught up in the I have to win side of things. And then it's like, well, now that I won, I have to go so hard to prove to the other woman that we're happy and that I was just the person that he wanted to be with and not that I'm the one he's settled with. So then they'll stay in that relationship to try to prove a point, even though it comes at a cost of their own self-esteem and their own mental health and peace. It's definitely a generational cycle. And I think for Justin, he grew up in a single parent household. A lot of times, people who feel like they don't have a real strong, like, foundation of family will end up getting married young on their own ends of things because they're trying to recreate the family that they felt like they were missing. However, you can't heal yourself through a romantic relationship. You have to heal yourself because you decide that you're going to put the work in to do it. And that's where both of them, kind of messed up. But I'm not going to sit here and bash them because they're both young kids that didn't know any better. When we think about, I got married when I was 19, so it's like I can't talk about anybody, and I know for sure that I missed a lot of red flags because I didn't know, because I didn't have a bunch of relationship experience to be like, that's not okay, that's not how you're supposed to be. So it happens. You get older, you heal, you grow, you learn. So did you guys have any questions about them? Spirit's not giving like a time frame on it. They're just saying that they're headed towards, disaster, basically. I mean, they should have just stayed in a long ass relationship and never got married, and then just realized we grew apart and they could just walk away. And that's the other aspect to it, is that they're both Christian and they both feel like we made this promise to God, so we have to make the most of it even though it's not working for them anymore. Yeah, and put question in front of your question so that I can see it. Handsome billionaires don't exist. They certainly don't seem to. Unless you're really into old men like Warren Buffett. But no, there's definitely no Prince Charming. But this is the thing. Why, you guys, I say this all the time. You have to be your own soulmate first. Because guess what? You're the only person that's guaranteed to be with you through any lifetime, not just this one on this earth right now. So you have to make sure that you are always working on you and that your relationship with yourself is good. And you can't constantly going around looking for somebody else to fix you or save you, because that's only going to end up leading you more broken. Because, well, people match energy. Energy is a magnet. You're just going to end up trauma bonding with people or becoming a victim to a narcissist if you don't work on yourself and make sure that you're really good. So Elon Musk is handsome. Well, Lottie, everybody's got their own types. I can't agree with you on that one, but I'm more into guys like Method Man. Completely like different vibes. Elon is kind of, I don't know. If I feel like I could beat you up easily, I can't be attracted to you. And I really feel like I could like beat the crap out of Elon if it came down to it. Honestly, I feel like if I even flinched at him hard, he'd get scared and run away and cry anyways. So no, being single is hecka fun. It really is. So Preston, that's the whole thing that we've already covered in Patreon, so I'm not answering that here. Will Justin get remarried after the Hailey divorce? Eventually he will. They'll both end up getting remarried someday. What will Hailey's career look like after the divorce? Spirit saying basically the exact same way that it is now. Hanging out with the Kardashians, doing YouTube bathroom videos, selling chapstick. I feel like Justin is gonna I feel like Justin's gonna kind of go in hermit mode even more than we're used to him doing. But then I feel him wanting to like restart his career. But I don't feel like Justin's gonna jump immediately into another relationship. I feel like Hailey's gonna find herself in another relationship much sooner than him. And she'll get married again before he does. And that'll be, you know, whoever they both end up marrying eventually will be the people that they actually end up having kids and all of that stuff with. I feel like Hailey's going to end up with like a baseball player or some other type of an athlete. And I feel like Justin's going to kind of do what Kanye did, where it's like you get somebody that's kind of worked in the industry, but they're not super well known until they're attached to, you know, Kanye or Justin. Because Bianca worked for Kanye for years, but nobody really knew who she was. And then all of a sudden, you know, when it's like, oh, Kanye married this girl, that's when everybody figured out who Bianca was. And I feel like it's going to be very similar for Justin. But I feel like it's going to be somebody that probably works in the music industry, like a, you know, A&R record executive or something like that. Tupac was just, Tupac literally was like, God himself sat down and took his time painting him. He was just such a beautiful man. Not selling chapstick. Well, isn't that what she's selling? You guys, have you guys used any of her skincare or her chapstick? Because, like, I've heard very mixed reviews about it. And at first, everybody was, like, overhyping the chapstick or whatever the hell it's supposed to be. Lip balm, whatever. But then I heard a bunch of other people saying that it made their lips like peel and it really irritated them, and I guess it had some like ingredient in it that was like messing up people's lips. I haven't tried it, so I don't know, but like I said, I've just heard very mixed reviews about it. Amy, yeah, but I mean, Zayn and Gigi still have to deal with each other because they have a baby, and that's gotta be hard for Zayn because Yolanda doesn't respect anybody's boundaries. And can you imagine having to deal with Yolanda Hadid the rest of your life? Listen, Sana, I have to catch Dario up on the whole makeup community thing. Because you guys, I told Dario, like, oh, we should look into some of this stuff. And like I said, oh, the Morphe thing. And he's like, who's Morphe? Is that a rapper? And I was like, no, it's makeup. So I have to like introduce Dario to the makeup community and all of the nonsense in there. But once I do and I get him caught up, then we can start looking into all these celebrity beauty companies. Because I feel like those are like such good videos to do from his perspective and knowledge of like the financials and the investments and how it all works. But Dario doesn't know any of the makeup stuff, so I have to like give him a crash course first. It's funny too, because Mimi was saying yesterday, she's like, oh, I can't believe that he doesn't know any of this. And I was like, Mimi, why would a man who doesn't know makeup know anything about the makeup community? Like, the only reason why I ever like knew anything about any of it either was because one day like a video was suggested to me from one of the drama channels about Jeffree Star doing something, and I remembered him from the I'm gonna throw battery acid on your face MySpace days, and I was like, wait, Jeffree Star is still around and he's still up to the same bullshit? So I watched it, and that was how I ended up falling into like knowing about the beauty community and all the drama too. And I've worn makeup since I was like in my teens, so I don't blame anybody who didn't know all that stuff. Yolanda seems like the kind of parent that as much as you try to put up boundaries with her, she's not going to let you. So, it's like the only way that you can have any boundaries with her is just completely cut her out of your life. That's just the vibe I get from her. Okay, let me see. And no more questions on them, guys, so we can move on to Kylie and Timothee. How will the general public react to Justin and Hailey's divorce? The same way that they do when any celebrity couple divorces. There'll be lots of stories back and forth about who supposedly did what and people taking sides. And then they'll move on, and then all of a sudden, the interest will start back up again because somebody's dating somebody, or we heard that they were seen around somebody, and it'll just, be like any other couple that splits up, basically. It's always kind of a predictable pattern, actually, if you look at it. Listen, Hannah, none of those celebrities' skin ever looks amazing because of their own products. It looks amazing because they get fillers and Botox and thread lifts and facelifts and all kinds of surgical procedures, and they get weekly facials, and they get laser treatments to tighten their skin and get rid of sun damage, and vampire facials and all the other things that they do. So, the best thing that you can do for yourself is make sure that you're moisturized, you clean your skin well, and you use sunblock. But beyond, more kind of like minimal results that you'll get with like a niacinamide or something, if you want drastic results, you're going to have to go to a dermatologist or a plastic surgeon and get, like more medical type treatments, like deeper peels and lasers and fillers and stuff. So don't ever think that, if I buy Kylie's walnut scrub or Hailey's donut glazed serum or whatever the hell she calls it, that you're going to have their skin. You're not. Let's not even talk about Michael. That's my man. What are you guys saying about Michael Jackson? Hailey needs an entertainment career for me to want to buy her stuff. Dude, I'm not lining any of these celebrities' pockets. I would rather find a small woman or a person of color owned business and support them. Or at least be able to just run into Target and grab it off the shelf, like Neutrogena or Elf or something. I'm not supporting Hailey or Kylie or any of these people's businesses. They got enough money. Last time I saw Jeffrey, he started a yak jerky business. Oh my God. Didn't he open up a store that was like a butcher shop and a makeup store in one? Like up in Wyoming? And then somebody threatened to bomb it or something? That was the last that I heard about anything like that, but it was funny. Well, that's why I said, Zeta, the fact that Yolanda was posting pictures of the baby online and making sure that she was taking her where the paparazzi was and all kinds of crazy stuff. That's why I said she's the kind of parent that you just have to completely cut her out of your life because she will not let you have any sort of boundaries. I don't think Timothee likes Kylie is just doing a PR stunt. This is definitely a PR stunt. So what questions do you guys have about Timothee and Kylie? Because this is 100% a fake relationship. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, at the Beyonce concert where they were, playing grab ass, two things else were happening. Okay. One was that the Keeping Up with the Kardashians camera crew was there, which they're hanging on to their Hulu deal by a thread from what I've been told by people who would know things in the business. and they need to come up with something stellar for the next season, or I guess Hulu's not even going to air it, and they're just going to give them like a Christmas special. The other thing is that apparently Travis Scott was also in the same VIP section. So if y'all want to know why they chose Beyonce's concert to make their couple debut, it's because they knew all the paparazzi was going to be there. It was going to make Travis jealous, in Kylie's opinion. He doesn't give a fuck, I'll tell you that. And the card, you know, the whatever they're calling that show, they're trying to drum up ratings and storylines for it. If Timothee could hit, would he? Probably. Listen, just because people are getting paid to be together, like Skeet and Scum, well, I don't think they had sex with each other, but Megan Thee Stallion and Moneybagg Yo, that was a PR relationship, but they were still banging each other. Like, that happens a lot. So, Preston, we're just talking about Kylie and Timothee. We're not talking about Beyonce. So Timothy's hype has really died off and quick. I didn't even know who he was until like the last year. So I didn't know like what was going on with that whole situation. I don't really watch movies or TV or anything like that. So when it comes to like acting, I really hardly ever know who any of the people are. So how does Travis feel about this? Well, let me also tell you something. The same night, young Sweet Roe was also at the Beyonce concert. If you don't know who young Sweet Roe is, that's Travis's real girlfriend. The one that Kylie got all the, after she stopped trying to morph herself into China, then she tried to morph herself into young Sweet Roe. So, but have you guys seen how the Timothee Chalamet like fan clubs and stands have been losing their ever-loving minds because Kylie and him are together? They were having emergency therapy sessions in Twitter spaces and having PSAs and claiming that Kylie stalked him and held him hostage at the concert. That was literally the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, they were literally acting like they had to go to his house and rescue him from her. Oh, really? Isn't Call Me By Your Name, wasn't that what, like, where it was, like, about two gay men and their, like, love story or something? Was he, like, one of the guys that was dating the other one or something? So, and Lady Bird, I don't know if I've ever heard of that. Willy Wonka and the Lip Filler Factory. It's so funny. I saw somebody said, oh, Kylie's just dating him so that she can do the Willy Wonka collaboration for Kylie Cosmetics. I'm sorry, but sometimes when I see like the collaborations that she does for her like makeup line, I'm like, why would anybody want that? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just, she picks the most random weird shit to do a collaboration with, like Shrek, and they don't even have like any Shrek movies coming out anytime soon or released anywhere. And it's like, why does somebody want Shrek makeup? So, I don't know. It just always seems really cheesy to me. So, well, do you know how much she's going to get eaten up, though, if she does a chocolate factory collaboration for her makeup company, but now she's dating a white guy? Like, I can already hear the jokes that people are going to make about this, and that she should have done it while she was with Tiger or Travis or something. So, I'll tell you right now how Travis feels about this. Ooh, Travis feels like Kylie needs to move on because Spirit is saying that even though Kylie popped up in public with Timothee, she was still trying to work things out with Travis. So he's just like, girl, I mean, we've got the Four of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the Fool as the underlying energy about how does he feel about this whole situation. He really feels like Kylie is just like trapped herself and can't move on. He doesn't I've told you guys before, Travis does not have any respect for Kylie. He just used her to have kids with because it's like, well, you're rich and you'll take care of them and be a good mom. And, you know, that's the unfortunate thing. Guys will let somebody be their baby mama and even be like, oh, I did a good job picking my baby mama, but I don't want to marry her because I don't love her. And, you know, he's always been like that when it comes to Kylie. And he knows that Kylie is like basically obsessed with him. She's taken him back bazillions of times, no matter what he's told her about, oh, we're together, but we're not together. She's willing to go along with it, even though she's just, you know, writing it out until basically, you know, it's like, oh, he's going to change his mind someday and decide that he does want to get married and he does love me and we are going to end up together forever. And she always ends up disappointed because there is always somebody else, including young Sweet Roe, who's never gonna go away until she decides to walk away, because Travis will always run back to that girl too. So he definitely knows that because he didn't give Kylie what she wanted, it's like, oh, now you win and you really are looking stupid because you think you're making a point, but I don't care about that point that you're trying to make. So he thinks it's silly. Spirit saying he's more than aware too of how that family operates. The PR machine, the stunts, you know, all of that. So he doesn't, it doesn't faze him. It's like everything that Kanye told you about them is true. So like, I already know how they operate. I would never take any of this stuff serious. So that's how he feels about that. Definitely was smart from his end, because you're right, Lindsay. I mean, look at all of the women that'll try to, you know, make sure that they have a baby by a rich guy so that they can get all the child support they want. Kylie could never do that with him because she'd probably end up having to pay Travis. So, and he knows that, so he's got her over a barrel, you know, in that situation too. So let's see. No, parasocial relationships are definitely destroying people. And listen, guys, I just want to tell you this too, because I know it's gotten insane for people trying to get concert tickets, and people are acting like, oh, you're broke and look at me, I could, you know, waste $5,000 on a Taylor Swift concert. How sad for you that you're broke. And it's almost like concert tickets are becoming the new Birkin bag to throw in people's faces or something. It's so weird. You're not going to die if you don't get to see somebody in concert, guys. Actually, you might die if you see somebody in concert. So don't worry, you are still okay if you don't have $12,000 for a front row seat to Beyonce or Taylor or anybody else. Just wanted to say that because I've seen the parasocial relationships crossing into the concert culture thing, and it's weird and creepy. This PR relationship will not lead to an actual relationship. Spirit saying, give it 6 more months and then, you know, Timothy's going to move on to somebody else. Also, he was seen all around Europe hooking up with other girls, like even as much as the beginning of this month, from what I was hearing from like gossip sites and stuff. Listen, Kris Jenner fucked all them kids up. I mean, look at what insecure messes Kylie and Khloe are. Kendall doesn't ever want to be around anybody. She just wants to go ride her horse. Courtney wants to go run away. You know, it's like Rob, we never see him. Like Kris, the only one of her kids that's really thrived is Kim. And that's because Kim is exactly like Kris. They'll do anything for fame and money. All the rest of them just got roped into it and feel like they have to like be a part of it, but obviously it has not benefited them. Travis is dark and narcissistic. They deserved each other with the games they played. He definitely is. Like, he gives me such like just vibes I can't even. Corpse Bride. I've never watched that. I'm gonna watch The Nightmare Before Christmas though, because that's my favorite Halloween movie. People are wearing tinfoil to Robot's concert. It's not a flex, right? Exactly, Sana. I never in my life understood paying over $100 for a ticket. I hate crowds. Yeah. 6 months. Timothy must be broke child, but like Dario says, people do need several streams of income. Hey, listen, Timothy's been listening to Dario, I guess. He was like, listen, there's a strike. I can't work. I got to make an income somehow. So I guess I got to pretend to be Kylie Jenner's boyfriend until the strike is over and I can work and make some more money again. So, oh my goodness. I mean, they're just the weirdest, like, couple anyways. But, I mean, hey, you know what, though? The Black community, y'all can celebrate. Because all of the Kardashians have officially moved on to the white and Hispanic races. Now we just have to wait for Kim to get herself an Asian guy. And let the Asian community go riot now. He wanted Zendaya, but Tom was faster. Oh my gosh, did he really though? You know, because I was thinking about that too. I was like, I could see him totally being with Zendaya, but like, I don't know, because he seems like he's like way more like, I want to like smoke a cigarette and have a glass of wine and have a deep philosophical conversation about what a poem actually means. And like, what are you going to talk about with Kylie? What color her next lip kit is going to be? What Stormy Baby did this morning that was so cute. Like, after about 10 minutes, you're going to run out of shit to talk about with her. Same thing with Kendall and Bad Bunny. I'm like, okay, that's obviously like the biggest PR stunt relationship anyways, but like Kendall doesn't speak Spanish and he supposedly doesn't speak English that great. So are they like those people on 90 Day Fiance where they just have the phone out and they're Google translating conversations with each other? And what are they doing? Google translating conversations about Kendall's fucking horses? Because again, what the hell do you have to talk about with Kendall? Rihanna hates you and you like horses and that's about all that's interesting about her. I mean, honestly, I would have a conversation with her about what did you do to Rihanna to make her hate you so bad and how do you feel about that? But that's all I would want to hear. So Kylie seems extremely boring to be. They all seem boring to be around. Honestly, the only one that is halfway, the two that would be interesting to have a conversation with is Rob. Because you just give him a hamburger and ask him a bunch of questions and he'll tell you about like all the real crazy, creepy shit that his family is into. And Kris Jenner. And that would just be a case study for a psychologist. But all the rest of them, they would be so fucking boring. What are we gonna do? Eat a salad and listen to you talk about your outfit? No, thank you. That's why I can't stand watching the show, because the whole entire show is that. Eat a fucking salad and talk about some outfit that you're gonna wear to some event coming up. I'm like, why do people watch this? It's the most boring thing in the entire world. And if you wanted to watch something like that, there's plenty of luxury channels on YouTube to watch where they unbox their Hermes and try on outfits that they got from designers. At least those people have something interesting to add. So, did you guys have any more questions about Kylie and Timothee? I'm surprised that they haven't either, to be honest with you. Of course he was with China for revenge. That's the thing too. Their salads look so fucking boring. It literally just looks like a freaking bowl of lettuce. I'm like, listen, I don't know if you all have ever seen those memes where it's like, when I say I'm gonna go on a diet and only eat salads from now on, and then the salad, you know, that they show has like deviled eggs, a chicken wing, a scoop of macaroni and cheese on it, hella like, you know, three different kinds of cheeses, salami, turkey, a bunch of ranch. Like that's the kind of salad that I would want. Does Kylie even like Timothee's appearance? No, she's not attracted to him. Listen, Kylie wasn't attracted to Travis either, though. Hey, let me tell you guys something. Outside of probably Chloe, none of those girls date any of the guys that they date because they think that they're attractive. They do it because it's for clout, it's for PR, it's to keep them legitimized within the industry. It's because they have a storyline. It's gonna benefit their fame and finances in some way or another. If y'all didn't know, Kim was apparently running around and telling people, because you know how they always wanted to act like, oh, Kim and Kanye were best friends for years and he was in love with her and then she fell in love with him finally and all that stuff. Kim was telling people that Kanye would do anything for her and that she was just using him for connections and that she thought he smelled and she didn't find him attractive and that she couldn't ever see herself wanting to be with him. And then as soon as they were about to get canceled because of the Chris Humphrey situation, all of a sudden Kanye's her soulmate and the love of her life. Because they needed his clout, they needed his connections to the fashion industry, and they needed to save their asses, because if their show had been canceled, especially during that time, they would have just faded off into irrelevance, and we would have been like, oh, remember when they were a thing for a while in the early, 2000s, and we would have referred to it the same way that we do like Newlyweds or the Ozzy Osbourne show or any of the other reality shows that, were during that time that ended up just going away after some point. So, exactly. And Ye was the only one that wanted to stick around and actually was somewhat decent. So, she's so stuck on this man that she doesn't even find him cute. I will be damned. Listen, like I said, they all got weird ass issues. Chris really did do a number on those girls. Because like a typical narcissist, she pinned them all against each other and made them compete to be seen as important and special in mommy's eyes. Because think about it. What other fucking parent in the entire world is going to constantly be on TV saying that one of her kids is her favorite and that it depends on which one is the biggest moneymaker for her at the time? And Chris and all the kids say it like it's no big deal and it's a normal thing for other people's families. And that is so not a normal thing. Or is it kind or healthy or what you as a parent should be doing to your children? And so she knew exactly how to manipulate those kids and all of that. Listen, I have heard from people because I read for somebody that has worked with Kanye very, very closely. Like, was around during recordings of major albums and everything. And this person said that Kanye smells really nice. He's never smelled bad. He asked everybody else that was around too and reported back to me that nobody ever said that they've ever been around Kanye and he's been smelly. I think that was just Kim was just dragging him and making up shit. So, because she also said he was ugly too. If you, listen, especially if you go back and look at pictures of Kanye from like, you know, graduation, college dropout, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye's actually a really good looking guy. It's just the thing is that Kanye's always had such a big personality that you notice his energy and the things that he's saying and you don't focus on his looks. But when you really like look at him, you're like, wow, Kanye's actually a really attractive guy. So to say that he's ugly, she tried that one. Kanye is hot. He's cute. I've always thought Kanye was good looking. And it's funny because he always catches me off guard too. Because I'm always like, oh, Kanye's cute. Like I forget. And then I see a nice picture of him and I'm like, no, he's a really good looking guy. Well, Chloe, if you want to know anything about what's really going on with that, the truth is in the Patreon, but I can't talk about that on here. We have to be hella careful about what we say on YouTube these days. So Chris does the top of the pyramid results like that lady from Dance Moms. You guys, you know how they used to have those like fundraisers and they would do it like the temperature thing, the big old whiteboard, you know, and then they would like fill it in and be like, okay guys, like the goal on top is like say 10,000 and then they color it in as they get up there, you know, as they raise the money. Chris probably has something like that in the kitchen and it's, you know, who gets to be Chris's favorite because they made the most money this week for their mom. And it's like, if you're at the bottom of the leaderboard, you have to sit outside and you can't like eat dinner inside with the rest of the family or something. So that's what she probably does. Or a sticker chart. You get to actually have a whole conversation with mom this week because you made her enough money. Sorry, Rob. You never win this game. So, all right, guys. Let's move on to Miss Ariana Grande and her affair with the married guy. What questions you got to ask about SpongeBob and Ariana? See, Chloe, I'm telling you, it's that Chris pins those kids against each other, so I really would not be surprised. You know what, Tana? Every time that anybody ever talks about Elon, you know what it reminds me of? That picture that the well, the picture that Kanye posted of him before he got his Twitter taken down, where Elon was all bloated and like pale as shit on that boat, and Ari Emanuel was spraying him with the hose. He literally looked like a beached whale in that picture. If you guys didn't know, that I guess like Twitter like took that off and completely banned Kanye's account on there now or something. But I just can't get over that picture. Every time I think of Elon, that's all I can see of him from now on. It was hilarious. So, how does she feel about all the backlash? Does she regret her actions? Okay. Let's see. No, Ariana is not in a PR relationship. Her and Dalton were a real thing, and her and this guy are, unfortunately for her and his wife, a real thing too. Elon is so pressed. They used to be besties. Listen, Elon does not like any kind of criticism, so he always tries to act like he's so down to earth and this and that, but then he gets all, he acts just like Carlos when he gets pissed because somebody's, you know, ragging on him. I bet you that was probably like 25% of the reason why he bought Twitter, was so that he could get rid of the people who like drag him on there every day. So let's see. How's Ariana feeling about everybody's opinions of her at the moment? Thank you. Elon seems like a weirdo to me. Listen, I was listening to somebody the other day that it's Dana Wilkie here on YouTube. She used to be on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills as Taylor Armstrong's best friend in the first couple seasons. And she was engaged to a very wealthy guy previously, but she was saying, you know, like, oh, girls always ask her, like, oh, how do you get a rich guy? And she's like, they're all weird, and the richer that they are, they're even weirder. So you have to be able to put up with a lot of shit, and you know that obviously the more money that somebody has, the more ruthless they had to be to get it, basically. So don't expect that like somebody's gonna be like super kind and empathetic to you. They might in the beginning just to reel you in, but that's, you know, not the character traits that it takes to be a billionaire. So no, Daquana, because my Patreon said that they did not give two craps about that. I asked, there was one person that said they were interested, so we didn't decide to do it. I mean, that was a PR relationship also, so hopefully he can live in his truth someday. We'll just leave it there. Alrighty. Honestly, she doesn't really care too much. I hate to say it, but it's like Ariana doesn't really care too much. It's more the people around her, like her team, that actually like were like, oh shit, she's gonna get canceled. Like, do we have to, you know, start the crisis PR and all of that kind of stuff? But she personally does not care. She thinks it's no big deal what happened. She doesn't have any like guilt or empathy or anything like that. But remember, listen, I love Ariana Grande. I love her voice. I like a lot of her music. As a fellow Italian American, I'm like, yay, somebody that's known for something other than portraying themselves to be in the mob because as Italian Americans, we are more than that, but that's all we ever get portrayed as. That I was like, yay, like good for that. So I will say this because it's not coming from a place of being a hater, but the girl obviously has a long career of being a homewrecker and a side chick and making sure that she always has her next situation lined up before she leaves the, you know, previous one. And so because of that, it's just like, to her, it's just like, this is what I do. This is how dating is. No big deal. If your relationship doesn't work out, that's just how things go. She doesn't really like have any at all. She wasn't even cared about the optics of it. You know, because there's a lot of people out there that they will be very ruthless, but at least they, you know, to some degree care about the public's perception and if it's going to negatively affect them. Like the K-Clan, for example, they'll still fuck over everybody that they can, but they're going to try to make it seem like they're not. And then, you know, if somebody does complain, they just put it on their show 3 years later and try to spin it as we were the innocent victims and they were wrong. So Ariana's like, whatever, who gives a fuck what people think about me? I don't care. So she feels like she has enough rabbit ass stands that are still gonna support her regardless. She thinks that by the time that the movie comes out, because it's not going to come out, I think, until like Christmas of 2024, if I remember correctly. And then the following Christmas is supposed to be the second part, if I remember. So she feels like by the time the movie even comes out, people will have forgotten. She'll have a different boyfriend at that point anyways. And life goes on, is basically her whole thing. So she doesn't really care unless it really did affect her bottom line somehow. She totally does not give two shits. We'll just say that. As far as Ulta not selling Rim Beauty, that doesn't have anything to do with this situation. It was about her having to buy her company back from Forma and Morphe, because Forma and Morphe are the ones that had the contract with all of the distributors. So now that Ariana has bought the company back, she's got to go through the process of creating her own contracts and distribution with stores. So it will probably be right back into Ulta. That has absolutely nothing to do with this situation. So, and me and Dario are going to do a video on the whole Morphe situation, because obviously like it did affect a lot of other brands like Ariana's, and there was a few other celebrity brands too. So I just have to, like I said, get Dario caught up, because he thought Morphe was a rapper and he doesn't know anything about the beauty industry. But once I do, we're gonna do more of together, like the beauty, especially celebrity beauty brands type of content together. So what does she think of her brother and SpongeBob comparison? Oh my god, that's so funny. Well, hang on guys, because I am going to interrupt this for a second, because I want to ask a question that I just remembered that I had. So I read on Crazy Days and Nights that Ariana allegedly told Ethan to go back to his wife, and that she didn't want to be in a relationship with him, and that this wasn't worth it after all, and that he is devastated. So I want to see if that's true, and then we'll do the other questions that you guys had. Morphe would be a good rapper name though. Did you guys know, if you guys didn't know, like go to Dustin Daly's content or Jen Love's reviews, they freaking exposed the hell out of like so much stuff around that whole Morphe situation, including that Jaclyn Hill did not own that company. But on the flip side of that, I have to say, the fact that even before Jaclyn tried to start or claim that she had her own company that was only, you know, ever really that she licensed her name to Morphe and they were just giving her, you know, a partnership deal. How come it was always Jaclyn that was being held accountable for like all of the issues that she had with them? Because every product that she launched with Morphe was a complete fucking disaster after that first palette, from what I ever saw online. But people only ever seem to like blame Jaclyn and make it her problem and not Morphe's problem too. And I was like, but at the end of the day, Morphe was the one that was manufacturing it, and that alone made me never want to try any of their products, because I'm like, I don't want shards of fucking glass in my eyeshadow or to get some lipstick that has mold and hair in it. So like, I don't care whose picture is on the cover or who said, you know, promoted it or whatever. Like, I wouldn't risk ever using Morphe stuff after all of the issues that they had. And when you think about the fact that like she's the one that got held to the fire and canceled for the hairy lipsticks, but it turns out that it was Morphe the whole entire time, I'm like, if I was her, I would have been like, y'all, guess what? Morphe is the problem. Like, I would have aired them out instead of sitting there in a fucking gray sweatshirt on the floor crying and letting the internet bully me. So they did not get together after they both split up from their marriages, Kitty. They were both cheating. Don't believe the BS. So let's see. Spirit, is Ariana, what's going on between Ariana and Ethan? Did she break up with him? Are they still dating? What is going on there? Thank you. Because they already got busted by his wife once, and he promised his wife that he wasn't gonna deal with Ariana anymore. And when we all found out, that was the second or third time that she caught them together. They were already supposed to be going to marriage counseling before the rest of us found out that they'd been fooling around. So okay, this is the first thing that's coming up, is that Ariana, when she gets really like insecure about herself, she goes and starts looking outside of her relationship, and it's like, I can steal a man and that validates me. And she looks at it like it's a game, or the same way that like, I don't know, like we might make a challenge out of trying to save $500 in a month, right? To Ariana, that's what it's like. It's just like, oh, I was bored. I mean, break up with your girlfriend because I'm bored is like such a fitting thing for her. She really only does see it as a conquest most of the time. If she feels like she happens to fall in love with the guy, then that's great. But if she doesn't, it's like, I got the little joy that I got, you know, out of the chase and the excitement of sneaking around. So honestly, it sounds like the girl's got a lot of issues, and she's doing this to distract herself from the stuff that she's really got going on inside that she doesn't want to deal with. And it's almost like, oh, I get in a manic phase and I go out looking for a husband to steal or to cheat, or for my next boyfriend, because it's the high, the same way that, you know, other people will go find other ways to sabotage their life when they're in a manic phase. I'm not saying she's, you know, has a mental illness. I'm just saying energetically that's what it feels like. I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing anybody. So she definitely told him to go back to his family. She is not really trying to move forward in a relationship with him. Spirit saying that she was going to end up dumping him as soon as filming ended anyways. To her, it really was an on-set fling that she was, you know, into having. But as far as like trying to find her real next serious relationship, which Spirit saying she still would have done, she still would have gone out, even if Dalton never found out about this, she still would have moved on and found her next target. She wasn't going to end up staying with Dalton anyways. But it really was just like, okay, whatever, you know, like filming's done. See you later. I'm going to go find somebody else now. So I don't know if you guys have seen all those memes going around. It's a clip from Samantha from Sex and the City when the guy calls and says, I left my wife, and she's like, who is this? And people are saying it's Ariana. I was like, pretty much. I am so disappointed in her. Do you guys know how much I've defended her and said I feel bad for her because she was an industry child? I can't feel bad for you anymore, Ariana. So, let's see. She has absolutely no intention of trying to work things out with Dalton either, guys. Just so you know that. She just hasn't filed for divorce yet because it's her team. Her team is like, if, you know, you guys ran and filed for divorce immediately, then it makes this seem like it's a real thing. Because think about it. The only thing that has 100% been confirmed about this situation is that Ethan's wife filed for divorce and said Ariana is not a girl's girl and she was hooking up with my man. Nobody else has come out and made a statement saying I messed up and I needed to do better or any of that kind of stuff, right? Because Ariana's team is trying to do the whole thing of, if you just ignore it and don't feed into it, the story will die. So it's like, give it enough time for people to forget this, and then they'll file for divorce and blame it on, oh, you know, our careers keep us apart too much and we just can't spend enough time together, and don't make it about, oh, well, I had an affair and that's why we have to split up now. So she's just trying to move on from that. Ashley, we're not doing any Nikki questions of any kind on YouTube anymore. Remember that. So, the wife is absolutely devastated, you guys. She feels like she doesn't know who the hell she married. Especially, remember, they've been together. The wife and her and Ethan have been together since they were like in high school. So to her, this is huge because it's like, I literally grew up with you and spent half my life with you, even though we're young. And because of that, you know, it's like, you did completely blindside me because I thought I knew you very well at this point in my life. Like, I thought if something, you know, that you would never do something like this, or that I would be able to have seen it coming or something. And she feels like she was so blindsided by this. And it really did come out of nowhere. But this is the thing that Spirit's saying. He's cheated on her before. He's just never gotten caught. And it has been with other coworkers. Now, this is, remember when I was doing Justin earlier and I said, unfortunately, you know, he'll end up cheating with some clout chaser, at least choose somebody else that has something to lose. That's what Ethan does. I cheat with other married women because they don't want this shit getting blown up and their marriage blowing up. So I'm able to get away with it. A lot of guys do that, by the way, if y'all didn't know. So, because you're not going to want me to leave my situation. You're not going to want to leave your situation. So it's easier for them, usually. So, Jesus Christ, I feel bad for the wife and the family. And Ariana, I am so disappointed in you. That man looks facially challenged. I was just like, girl, really? Listen, as far as Ariana's family goes, it's a bunch of yes people. Okay? When you're the moneymaker in the family, and the only reason why anybody else even knows who the hell any of your family is because of you, how many people's families are really going to sit them down and say, this ain't it, get your shit together? And how many of them are going to be like, it's okay, your marriage was falling apart and you just needed some comfort and you made a mistake, but you'll do better, or don't even say anything and just keep their mouth shut because they don't want to piss off the person that's paying all their bills or that can help them get their next job. That's why everybody in Hollywood is always surrounded by enablers and yes men, especially their own family oftentimes. And think about this, okay? Do you really think that parents of child stars are not the most, I'm trying to think of how to say it, like, they use their kids the most and they just see their kids as like an opportunity for them to live some sort of lavish life. Look at Britney Spears' family. Look at, you know, a lot of these kid stars, and they grow up and it's like, I busted my ass from the time that I was 6 years old on Barney, only to grow up and realize that my parents didn't save a single dime for me and I'm broke as an adult, even though I was working my ass off my entire life. Because didn't that happen to the Sprouse kids, that like they didn't have any money, or they didn't have most of their money by the time that they got old enough? So a lot of times, you know, that's they're greedy, and you know, because I mean, think about it. Who the hell in their right mind, if you're not a greedy person, feels comfortable that your kindergartner is the one that's financially supporting your whole entire family? Opportunist, that's the word I was looking for, Lindsay. There's no way in hell that I could ever let my kid go to work and support me. I will literally go freaking do anything that I can to like make sure that my child would never be in that situation. And I don't care if it was working in a factory or working on a Disney Channel. It's fucked up either way. So that's why it's just like, you know, you can't count on the families that these poor kids come from to be that great. I honestly, this was one of those situations where the universe was doing that girl a favor, regardless of how she feels about it at the moment, and really showing her this is who you attached yourself to, and he's not who you think he is anymore, and you need to get out and save yourself. So I heard it was the wife's family that was rich, not Ethan's. Or that they both came from wealthy, like, East Coast families and went to these, like, super rich schools. I feel like his family is more just pissy because, you know, it's gossip and they don't want their, you know, kid being talked about that way. But I get like his family kind of always just figured that, like, they would get divorced at some point because, you know, it's not super common to see people that went to, you know, high school together to, you know, still be in a relationship or married when they're in their 40s. I never heard that Dalton's family came from money. Dalton's devastated too, you guys. He is devastated. Don't be surprised if we don't see Ariana married again within 2 or 3 years. It's coming up that there is another marriage not too far in the future for her. She'll probably have about 4 boyfriends between now and then. And Spirit's talking about this being like a quick moving situation, which, remember, like when her and Dalton moved pretty fast together too, because I don't even think they were like together for much longer than a year by the time that they did get married. But Spirit's saying it's like by the time that we're aware, like, oh, Ariana's dating this person, it's like within a couple months they're married. She really is going to be the next J-Lo, you guys. She really will. I'm not kidding, because I feel like she's going to be married 5 or 6 times. She'll be the next Elizabeth Taylor, Jennifer Lopez, and guess what? Just like I said this about Jennifer Lopez, at this point, girl, you're the problem. It's not that you just have a bad picker and you just can't figure out where to find your soulmate at. No, you're the fucking problem. If you have to get married 8 times and be engaged 13 more times, there's obviously something about you, and you're trying to find yourself and validate yourself and heal yourself through other people rather than working on you on the inside. And you guys, we all know that Ariana has daddy issues, and this is just, we're seeing her daddy issues play out. Well, same thing, Sana. And guess what, too? Honestly, would you want to hang out with your partner around her? Like, if you're another friend of hers, it doesn't matter if y'all are married, engaged, dating, whatever, would you want to bring your significant other around your friends if you had a friend like Ariana that was like always, you know, cheating or taking somebody's boyfriend or, you know, being somebody's mistress and this kind of stuff? No. And you can't blame people for that. If my friend was doing drugs, I wouldn't want to hang out with him because I don't do that. And I would feel like I'm enabling you by still like just chilling with you when you're sitting there shooting up. So it's the same thing. You can't blame people, but that's where she's going to lose a lot of friends or people that don't even want to work around her, because it's like, oh, well, my husband might want to come on set and I don't want to worry that I have to pee, and while I'm in the bathroom, Ariana's going to steal him. So it's just like she needs to chill, okay? Ariana's getting her ponytail dragged across the Wizard of Oz stage. Oh my god. Remember from the original Wizard of Oz, the flying monkeys, and they would swoop down and like grab the Toto the dog, and they tried to grab, or they did grab everybody and dragged them to the Wicked Witch of the West. You turn into one of the flying monkeys and jump on her back and drag her by her ponytail. That's what it just reminds me of. Like, I will turn into one of them, beat your ass, and drag you out of here. So what other questions do you guys have about it? I gotta get off of here in the next 10 minutes because I have to call a client. And reminder, guys, check the community tab in about an hour or 2, and I will have a coupon code up if you've been wanting to book a reading, because we are going to be donating half of all funds to a community member that is facing eviction. And next Thursday's live will also be a fundraiser for that, so you will be able to donate $5 and ask a celebrity question and get it answered. just the same way we did for Erica's funeral funds. So we ain't seen the Wiz hoe. Listen, I'm so torn by that too, because the original Wiz was Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, and I'm like, do I really want to see a bunch of white people in it? Like, it was just, you can't, I mean, I know not everybody was like a huge fan of the Wiz with Michael in it, but I'm such a Michael fan that it's like, that's the only version that I do want to watch. How does she feel about the comparison to her brother in SpongeBob? Spirit's saying she doesn't see it. But honestly, it's because she doesn't want to, because then you'd have to ask yourself, why would I be attracted to somebody that literally looks just like my brother? Except he's got orange curly hair instead of whatever color hair and haircut my brother's rocking at the moment. Because, you know, Frankie always switches his hair up. Sana, you have to watch it. They have like the best people in it. Diana Ross, Michael Jackson. I was like, shoot, who else? I'm having such... It's Mercury retrograde and I forget things so bad during Mercury retrograde, like words and people's names and everything. But they have such a good cast of people, and just like people who can sing and are talented and can dance. Like, I loved The Wiz. I thought it was amazing. But that's why I'm just like, even though I like Ariana, I'm going to still be sitting there like, where's Michael? When's Michael coming out? And be really mad about that. Was she really attracted to SpongeBob? No. It was her trauma that was attracted to him. But not, you know, like, oh, my eyes were like, what an attractive guy, I must be with him. No, it was the trauma and the brokenness and the toxicity that was attractive, but not him per se. So yeah, all the Wiz and the Wizard of Oz movies and redos and all of that stuff, they're always long. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and start wrapping it up. So our first Nikki only stream will be next Saturday in Patreon. Just in time, since she's going to be hosting and performing at the VMAs next week. So we'll have a lot to talk about. So if you want to join us over there, you can join on the Barb tier on patreon.com/psychicbellalove. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out and subscribe if you haven't already. And you can subscribe to my second channel, Psychic Bella Love Podcast. Next week, we will be on our new schedule where we will go live at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There will be no more weekends lives. But I hope everybody has a good weekend. I hope you guys all get some rest. And by the way, reminder, today is the 9/9 portal. 9 is the number of divinity, your highest self, your soul. It's the strongest spiritual number as far as your spiritual side goes. So make sure the portal is open for the next 9 days. So manifest some healing, do some meditation. Prayer is always just as powerful as anything else you can do. Don't ever be afraid to pray. Nothing that you ask of God, your ancestors, the angels is ever stupid or meaningless or that you don't deserve it or whatever. You've got to build a relationship with yourself, with God, and with your ancestors. Take advantage of the energy that we have the next 9 days to really do that. And I love all of you. I hope everybody has everything that they ever dreamed of and have been manifesting come through for them. And I hope that you have an amazing, beautiful weekend. And I will have that stuff posted on the community tab within the next couple hours. And I love you guys. Bye.